Tonight on Joy News, Prime Minority in Parliament walkout over approval of 4 deputy ministers designated after the majority opposed their request to subject the nominees to another vetting. National Security Minister justifies removal from office of Ashanti Region Security Liaison, saying he was obstructing the work of his successor. Scientists warn of an upward trend in COVID-19 cases in Kumasi, with growing infections among young people.
Just wait till next week. And it's exactly happening as I had predicted, because, the science doesn't lie. It's just like, it's just what it is. It will happen, all right? And it is happening. So what this means is we need to be really careful. And if you watch carefully, it's exactly the same picture. It's the younger population.
Some residents, Joy News has been speaking with, however, appear unfazed.
I think it is gone.
They said coronavirus.
In business, economy zone plays any significant impact of Fitch downgrade of Ghana's credit rating on investor confidence and the economy. The thoughts of Professor Eric Osesibe.
In a crisis period like that, where all countries are experiencing some form of deterioration, and when you experience such a downgrade, the effect is quite minimal.
The CleanGhana campaign has today been focused on the notorious slaughterhouse at Aveno here in Accra, and the report is not pleasant.
As we are standing here, we are commanding all of them right now. They should go and get brooms and start cleaning all the cobwebs. They should start right now, please. Go and get brooms and start cleaning the cobwebs right now.
Also in the bulletin, the police has arrested a murder suspect after 5 months of intensive search. My name is Israel, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kokomlemle here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air, and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is a home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. Minority MPs Wednesday walked out of the House as Parliament approved the 4 outstanding deputy ministers designate, saying they cannot be part of the process as they do not partake in their vetting. The NDC MPs have demanded another session to vet the nominees because they were in their constituencies as part of the national tree planting exercise on June 11 during the vetting of the 4. The 4 were, however, approved by the majority side after the chairman of the Appointments Committee, Joe Osewusu, presented his report.
Stated that in the consideration of these nominees, members of the minority were not present, and so the record reflects that the members of the minority were not present. Indeed, it is a request of the minority leader that the report reflects so. And so, Mr. Speaker, we put that in the report to reflect the position. But, Mr. Speaker, the records of the committee will show that members present were sufficient for purposes of quorum, and therefore we conducted a legitimate business. However, Mr. Speaker, it is open to members of the entire House to comment. What is critical is that members the nominees had demonstrated that they were qualified under the Constitution, and that the publication for 14 days for members of the public to present any memoranda, talk about any reason for which any of them may not be confirmed by the House, yielded no response. That no memoranda were brought from the public, no adverse comments from the public were received, neither were any brought to the attention of the committee. The circumstances, Mr. Speaker, I think it is fair that this House approves the nomination of the 4 nominees for the appointment of Mr. Speaker. I thank
Deputy Minority Leader James Aveji led the walkout, insisting they don't want to be part of the process.
Of the minority side on the committee did not take part
in the proceedings as they were away for the tree planting exercise in their various constituencies as directed by the Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the 11th of June, which was the day these 4 nominees were vetted, was the day that the Right Honorable Speaker directed all of us to go to our constituencies to take part in the tree planting. Mr. Speaker, the chairman of the committee has not been fair to the minority side of the committee, whilst the Right Honorable Speaker directed that we should take part in the tree planting. He organized a meeting for vetting of these people. So, Mr. Speaker, we from the minority side will not be part of this debate because the chairman has not been fair to us.
Respect to your committee.
The chairman has not been fair to us. Whilst we were in our constituencies doing national assignment directed by the Right Honorable Speaker, he was organizing a meeting to vet nominees. Mr. Speaker, why should that be so? So our side will not support these 4 nominees. We will not be part of this. And I want to draw this to make this to your attention that we will not take part in the debate. We will not support these people. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much. So we'll work out. When we finish, we'll come back. Thank you very much.
Majority Leader Sechimen Sabunsu says it is important the Speaker consults leaders before he gives directives like ordering all MPs to go and plant trees and also declaring June 11 a no-sitting day.
I'm not too sure that this is anything that should divide the House. Mr. Speaker, because what I'm gathering from the statement by the Deputy Minority Leader is a mix-up in communication. It's important that if a Speaker should make a ruling or give a directive in such regard, that he consults with the leadership of the House. I think it's important because the Speakers don't run Parliament on their own. They should be very consultative. But, Mr. Speaker, I also think that, as I stated earlier, that this is not any matter that should divide this House. And I think it's unfortunate that there was a mix-up in communication. If maybe the Speaker had been much more consultative, we would have seen a way about it. And the Deputy Speaker, who is the chair of the committee, Speaker, I'm told, engaged some of the committee members. Not everybody was present. And unfortunately, information was not transmitted appropriately, which is how come the committee held a discussion and took the decision.
The two sides have been addressing media briefings. Joseph Opoku-Gakwa, parliamentary correspondent, joins us with more on what they have been saying. Joseph, what else have the two sides been saying at their news conferences?
Well, we've had addresses from both the NDC and the NPP side. Hassan Suhini leading the address by those on the NDC side and Samuel Atachia leading the address by those on the NPP side. Mr. Suhini says they would want to see a case where the 4 individuals, and just to run you through the list of those 4 specifically, Daina Asunabadapa, who is headed to the Attorney General's office as Deputy Minister Designate at the Office of the Attorney General, Honorable Lariraba Abdul, who is Deputy Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Martin Ejemen Sakosa, who is Deputy Minister Designate for Local Government and Rural Development, as well as Amidu Ishiaku Chiana, who is Deputy Minister Designate for Sanitation and Water Resources. The minority MP said they would want the Speaker to order a revetting of the 4 individuals, because then we've seen a situation, they claim, where the chairman of the appointment committee has shown a lot of disrespect to the Speaker's directive when it comes to the indication that MP should go plant trees. He's also been disclosing some additional details that the leadership on the minority side actually went to the Speaker with a complaint that they were not part of the vetting based on his previous directive, and so they would want to pull brakes on the processes with the approval. But the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, told them that this is an issue that can be resolved on the floor when the report of the appointment committee comes to the House for the necessary approval. The interesting bit is that when the approval was being done, the second Deputy Speaker, who is also the MP for Famina, Mr. Siama, rather presided over the sitting. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin himself, wasn't in the chair, and the leadership on the NDC side at the level of the committee, including the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, and the minority chief of Muntaka Mubarak, were all absent on the floor, and it was James Klucha Veji who led the walkout eventually. And so they are making that demand, but we've been getting responses from the majority side. Samuel Atacha thinks that the NDC MPs actually did not take their jobs seriously in terms of the need for them to show up and do the vetting, because then he makes the point that the chairman of the appointment committee himself, Jose Usu, was in Parliament House, led a tree planting exercise. He put brakes on the processes during the vetting and came to do tree planting and went to continue. So the NDC MPs could have done the same. And he goes on to make the point that the demand for a revetting will never happen. But the conclusion is that the House went ahead and approved the 4 individuals even after the NDC MPs walked out of the House earlier today.
All right, but it's curious, as you indicated, that the Speaker himself wasn't in the chair, Alban Bagbin, who had given the minority is citing as the reason they didn't show up. It will be interesting to hear what he has to say about all of that. Does he actually have a say in any of that?
Israel, you're referring to the Speaker in terms of what the Speaker has to say in all of it. So, yes, we're waiting to see if eventually he would comment on this tomorrow morning when he occupies the seat and presides over sitting. Earlier in the morning, he presided over a bit of the sitting, and then the first deputy took over, and eventually the second deputy took over. And we can only wait and hear what he would have to say about this tomorrow, because the minority MPs are insisting that there was a bit of disrespect that was shown to him by the majority side, particularly the chairman of the appointment committee.
All right, thank you very much, our parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Now, staying in Parliament, National Security Minister Abeka Napa says former Ashanti Regional Security Liaison Officer DCOP Ayensu Opare-Addo was removed from office by operatives from the ministry because he was obstructing the work of his successor. Responding to questions in Parliament, Mr. Kandapa explained DCOP Opare-Addo refused to leave office even though his 2-year contract had been cancelled by the National Security Coordinator. He adds negotiations to get him to leave office proved futile, compelling the National Security Coordinator to send operatives to Kumasi to change the locks to his office. DCOP Opare-Addo is alleged he was assaulted by the men when they stormed his office, but Mr. Kandapa says no such official complaint has gotten to him.
Was given a 2-year contract to serve as the Ashanti Regional Security Liaison Officer after the expiration of an initial 2-year contract, which began on January 5th, 2018. His new appointment, Mr. Speaker, took effect from January 1, 2020 and was to expire on December 31st, 2022. However, his appointment was terminated on February 19, 2021 by the National Security Coordinator. Upon the termination of his contract, Mr. Speaker, DCOP Opare-Addo was paid his entitlements as per his appointment letter. Subsequent to the termination of the appointment of DCOP Opare-Addo, the ministry appointed Colonel Francis Dufa Atta, retired, as the new Ashanti Regional Security Liaison Officer. The Colonel's appointment took effect from 1st May 2021. But Mr. Speaker, DCOP Opare-Addo refused to hand over to Colonel Francis Dufa Atta. DCOP Opare-Addo then declined numerous invitations from the National Security Coordinator to explain his refusal to vacate the office. Meanwhile, his continued stay in office obstructed the work of the new Regional Security Liaison Officer. Mr. Speaker, against this backdrop, personnel from the Ministry of National Security were, on 11th May 2021, dispatched to the Ashanti region to ascertain the reason for DCOP Opariado's refusal to hand over to his successor, and if it became necessary, to change the locks of the door to his office. On arrival, Mr. Speaker, at his office, the personnel duly introduced themselves, but were met with acts of hostility by DCOP Opariado, including drawing his side arm. The personnel managed to restrain him and retrieve the side arm. Mr. Speaker, till date, no official complaint has been made by DCOP Opariado, either to his immediate boss, the National Security Coordinator, or to me as the Sector Minister regarding the alleged assault on him. Neither has the Minister of National Security received any correspondence from the police in relation to the allegations by DCOP Opariado. Sir Speaker, I will want to assure the House of our willingness to investigate the allegations should any official complaint be made by DCOP Opariado.
Now moving on, a senior research fellow with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research is warning of an upward trend in COVID-19 cases in the Ashanti region. Speaking on PM Express Tuesday, Dr. John Amoisi said a lot more of the youth are getting infected according to the latest numbers. He is warning the country will be badly exposed if the new highly contagious variant makes its way into the general population, and is urging the Ghana Health Service to strictly enforce testing and quarantine those who test positive.
The manifestation of the third wave is very critical. In the UK, one could argue that they are actually in another wave of sorts, albeit maybe a fourth wave. But what's happening is that it's not going to impact on the hospitalization rates and the death rates. It's the infection rates. So what does it mean for us here if we are in a third wave? For me, it means that the risk of severe disease and ultimately hospitalization and death might be high. If you look at the numbers in the Ashanti region, it's already going up. We're doing some work, right, for which we need to do some pre-screening. And I can tell you that over the past 2 weeks, we've seen a significant rise in the numbers of positives that we're seeing. We did a pre-screening and half of those who pre-screened were positive, all right? It's really interesting. And I actually told my team that just wait till next week. And it's exactly happening as I had predicted, because, you know, the science doesn't lie. It's just like, you know, it's just what it is. It will happen, all right? And it is happening. So what this means is we need to be really careful. And if you watch carefully, it's exactly the same picture. It's the younger population. It's the younger population. Because of where I sit, I get many calls from people. Oh, I'm not feeling too well, so and so and so. So you send them for testing, you find that it's positive. And then you just have to make sure that they're isolated and so on. So.
Well, residents in Kumasi have appeared unperturbed by the warning. Some of them, Joy News has been speaking with, say that media is exaggerating the issue.
There's nothing I'm doing about the safety protocols. Me, for instance, the way the media were preaching about this coronavirus pandemic, nowadays I've not been hearing it. So me, I think it is gone for good, and there's no way it will come back. I heard the Ashanti region, we are leading. When you see our attitude, the attitude of the people in the Ashanti region is very bad. Though it is not gone for it. It is not gone. But the way, especially when you sit in the trotro and the taxi, people are not wearing their nose masks.
The Ashanti region, we are having a problem because of the political interference of the district. Because recently, when the St. John burial, and then a lot of people are making a lot of comments that if the president will be making all the necessary about to wear the face mask and all this thing, and then they themselves during the funeral there is a lot of things happen there, and then because of that a lot of people, then you can't be communicate to some people who are not wearing it, because when you try to let them to use what you are doing, they are trying to refer you to the politician.
Coronavirus, I said, in said that you say coronavirus be a loss here abrofun on a coronavirus started free by you. The Euros see on mobile, when you pay good stadium, get the ye. Now I ain't Ghana coronavirus be a conclusion. I mean, they say, and when you phone disc, oh, abrofun on Salam because here. We are not adhering to the protocols because we are tired of them. Every day there's new virus. Every day there's new virus. We don't know what to do again. We are tired of them. They should come and kill all of us. We are tired of them.
All right, so we'll be speaking with the Ghana Medical Association in a bit, but I just want to share with you the latest COVID stats on the Ghana Health Service website. So we have 52 new cases and 1,301 cases, which actually indicates an uptick, that the trend, it's trending upwards. And if you look at the regional distribution, 929 active cases in Greater Accra, 155 active cases in the Ashanti region, where we've just been speaking with some of the people there. The total confirmed number of cases, 95,236 and 794 deaths. Then we also have 93,141 recoveries and discharge. So clearly, this is worrying because we're seeing an uptick in the numbers. Now, the Ghana Medical Association is also worried about the implications of the new highly contagious COVID-19 variant finding its way into communities in Ghana. Joining us is Deputy General Secretary Titus Bayo. Thank you very much, Dr. Bayo. Now, KCCR says it is seeing an upward trend in COVID-19 cases in the Ashanti region. What has been the GMA's own observations as far as COVID-19 cases are concerned?
Good evening, Israel, and good evening to your viewers. I think the trend in Ashanti, we picked up signals a bit earlier, somewhere last week or even the week before, that the cases were beginning to inch up. At some point, the Deputy Director of Public Health for the region actually made a statement to that extent. When they were recording about 20 cases a day, and at some point it went up to 39 to 40 cases a day. So it looks like, yes, what KCCR, which is the testing center, is reporting is what the case is. Hopefully, we are hoping that what they are seeing is not the Delta variant, because from the data available, it looks like most of it, this Delta variant, is being picked at the airport. Whether it's filtered into the community, we are not sure yet, and we hope that it hasn't. And listening to your sound bite from Ashanti, it's very disturbing, but truthfully, you can't begrudge them because they are speaking based on what they are seeing. And these are the very comments that the Medical Association expressed on some of these situations. And it looked like people didn't take us seriously. If you take, I don't know if I can respond to some of them.
But before you respond to them, I'm just curious, where do you think we're getting these new cases are coming from?
No, you see, the way this disease spreads is exponential. There's something we call the attack rate of the disease, where even if you have one person and the person doesn't obey the protocols, it spreads. So what had happened was that we had an intense use of our protocols, wearing of masks and all, so the virus could not move from person to person. Let's not kid ourselves. Our immunization is not a major response that has brought down the trend that we saw from January, February. It's mainly because there was heightened awareness. People were afraid when they were seeing that our hospitals were getting full, and the media was up there making a lot of campaigns on it. So because of that, people started adhering to the protocol. That helped us to control the disease. Now we have gone down on these protocols. So it's just normal that a few people who have got this condition at a time will begin to spread it. So I'm not sure the trend we are seeing is because of new importation, in particularly in Ashanti, but it's because there is total disregard for the protocols. Just go to Kumasi for a weekend and look at the funeral, look at the activities that are happening, and even in Accra here. So that is what is accounting for the trend that we are beginning to see.
All right. Now, there appears to be some fatigue among the general population, and this is coming to what we've heard, the sentiments we've heard from the region when it comes to the COVID-19 protocols, which is apparent from the people we've been speaking with who cite the disregard of the protocols by persons in authority. It is a setback to all the work that has been done. How do you suggest we address this challenge?
So, definitely, fatigue in adherence to protocol is expected. What we are doing is not the norm for us, and therefore, when you do a new thing over time, it becomes difficult for people to adhere. That is why there's a need for enforcement. Release after release, the Medical Association has pleaded with the law enforcement agency to enforce it. You have to help the citizens to protect themselves. Definitely, people will get tired. Nobody is comfortable wearing masks all the time. Nobody is comfortable not hugging people, not meeting with people. It's not the norm. So unless you enforce it, everybody will get tired with it over time. But knowing that we have a challenge, then you have to try and enforce the protocols to protect the citizens against themselves. So if you ask me how are we going to go about it, I think it's enforcement, enforcement, enforcement. And then those we see as leaders, political leaders, various influencers on social media, media houses, all of us must be seen to be doing the right thing. Then people get to know that everything is, we are not out of the woods yet, and they have to adhere to these protocols. I heard people citing the ongoing Euros that is going on. They are saying that the whites are not in masks and all of that. Ask the vaccination status of these countries and look at the stadium that is being that are used. What is the capacity of the stadium and how many people are in there? And almost all these people have been vaccinated already. What's happening in our country? What percentage of our population is vaccinated? So we really cannot look at what is happening out there and bring it to our system. Our healthcare system is nothing compared to theirs. Now, if you come to some of the comparisons they were making about the political class not adhering to these protocols, we mention it. And I think sometimes the media need to follow it up. When the activities of Sir John's funeral occurred, the GMA issued a statement. We heard political commentators saying we should wait and see if there will be rise in the cases. I think we should call back some of those people and let them explain why they are rising in the cases. It may not just necessarily be Sir John's funeral, but there has been a trend that has been demonstrated to everybody that, look, the persons telling us to wear the masks are not taking it serious anyway. Maybe there's some information that they know that we don't know, or this disease is even gone. And you could hear someone say that there's no COVID in Ghana. They're saying it's gone. It's that our leaders are trying to take money from donors. That's why they are saying this disease is there. That's a very unfortunate thing. Have we not seen people who have died from this condition? We have. So we cannot say that this is a mystery. There is nothing like that. It's unfortunate. But it's because those we hold high, those we rely on, our leaders are not showing us examples.
Right. Right, thank you very much, Dr. Titus, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association. We're taking a break here on Join This Prime, still ahead in the bulletin. The Joy Clean Ghana campaign has today been focused on a notorious slaughterhouse at Aveno here in Accra, and the report is not pleasant.
As we are standing here, we are commanding all of them right now. They should go and get brooms and start cleaning all the cobwebs. They should start right now, please. Go and get brooms and start cleaning the cobwebs right now.
In the bulletin, the police has arrested a murder suspect after 5 months of intensive search. We have the details coming your way. We also have business news. Please stay tuned in. We're back after this break. Welcome to Business. And in business, economics professor Eric Osesibe has downplayed any significant impact on investor confidence and the economy after international ratings agency Fitch revised Ghana's outlook from stable to negative. According to Fitch, the revision of the outlook to negative was a reflection of the significant deterioration in the country's public finances stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic and the delays to government's fiscal consolidation efforts. However, Professor Sibe says this is expected as Ghana, just like other countries, is yet to fully recover from the impact of COVID-19 on the economy.
Often in a crisis period like that, where all countries are experiencing some form of deterioration, and when you experience such a downgrade, the effect is quite minimal. Normally, such effect will trigger two things. One is that the interest on your borrowing will increase. So investors, because of the higher risk, they will demand much more interest rate to cover any risk premium. And then also it's likely to trigger sell-off, where debt holders or equity holders will begin to sell off your debt. And that can have implication on your debt repayment ability, as well as your exchange rate can also depreciate. But in this case, the downgrade is happening in many countries across the globe. It is not only Ghana. So many countries which have recorded fast accumulation of debts and large fiscal deficits have been downgraded. And so there are not much options for investors at this time around. So I do not see much negative effect on the economy, given that the timing or the fact that many countries are now recovering and countries actually are experiencing difficult economic situations.
Now, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has provided detailed reasons why the central bank will not be able to appear before a parliamentary committee to answer a petition by some shareholders of the defunct UT and Unibank. He says the legal process must be allowed to run its course. Speaking at the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industries Business Forum in Accra, Dr. Addison also called for public support for the receivers to be able to retrieve all properties of the defunct financial firms. Here's a report.
According to the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, there are already a number of actions filed in court by the same persons who are seeking Parliament's intervention. He said the Bank of Ghana's simple response to Parliament is to respectfully allow the pending legal processes to run their course. He also reminded the gathering of a similar inquiry by the 7th Parliament in 2018, whose report has since not been made public.
Running to Parliament to seek redress for the revocation of an institution's license is not one of the processes laid down under law for those who feel aggrieved by a license revocation by the Bank of Ghana. There are already a number of actions filed in court and at arbitration by the same persons who run to Parliament for cover. And the Bank of Ghana's simple response to Parliament is respectfully to allow the pending legal processes to run their course. Indeed, sometime in September 2018, the 7th Parliament undertook a formal inquiry into the financial sector cleanup, the factors that led to it, and the manner in which it was carried out.
President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Clement Osama, said members of the business community are ready to support government's economic revitalization program. He further called on government to expedite action on various stimulus programs to ensure that the relevant sectors of the economy get the needed support in time.
Minister of Trade also mentioned the support that they gave when we had the COVID. Well, what I saw is that most of them were consumption-based, the utility services, food, etc., just to keep us surviving. I think that should be the first motive. With the support for the private sector and for that matter the SMEs were not enough. Monies, though we are aware, we had some monies that were distributed by some state organization to support some industry. They were woefully inadequate. What people were asking for, they couldn't get it. And so it means that if you don't get the right amount to move up your business, there's a possibility that you might even consume the money. So we are looking at it in a situation where in future, or going forward from now, after we have had our meeting and we have identified some of the weaknesses, then we'll go upon it and make sure that governments look at it again and see how they can give them some stimulus package to survive, as done by the bigger economies.
The theme for the forum was redefining business success, the path for business value, resilience, and sustainability.
Well, head of market and advisory at KPMG Ghana, Andy Akoto, has advised businesses to take advantage of the various regulatory easing policies by government to propel growth. According to him, local businesses can also benefit from the May tax holidays and other incentives provided by government.
The trends point to businesses repositioning to look at, more importantly, how they are able to manage their costs and, of course, maximize their profits. Costs minimization, obviously, because you need to find creative and innovative ways of being more efficient, because the route to market would have kind of changed. And therefore, you find a lot of businesses redefining their route to market supply chain models to be able to reach their market in a more efficient way to maximize efficiency. Then we are also talking about the fact that they also need to be able to watch out for some of the policy initiative and reliefs that is being provided by government and other regulatory agencies and bodies to be able to take advantage of them.
And that'll be all for business for now, but Gift and Apia will be back after 8 with more business news. Up next, we have Muftar with the sports.
Hello, welcome to Sports on your News Prime. I am Muftar Nabila Ablai. Asante Kotoko have gone to the top of the Ghana Premier League momentarily after a hard-fought 2-1 win over Kerala United at the Obuasi Lenkley Sports Stadium. The Porcupine Warriors now have 56 points, 3 more than rivals Hearts of Oak, who will meet Legon Cities at the Accra Sports Stadium on Thursday. Let's check the full match day 30 results as it happened earlier today. Asante Kotoko won 2-1 against Kerala United, just as you heard. Brekum Chelsea were also 2-1 victors over Elmina Sharks. Dreams FC had to come from behind to defeat the Shiman 11 Wonders by 2-1, and Great Olympics were also 1-0 winners over Bechem United. Wafa had to fight very hard as they were able to secure a 3-2 win over Ediana Stars, but a game involving Midiama SC and King Faisal has been postponed. Tomorrow you will have Ibusua Dwarfs play Inter-Allies, Liberty Professional will host Ashanti Gold, whilst Legon Cities will play Accra Hearts of Oak. Now let's do some boxing, and father of Isaac Dogbe, Paul Dogbe, has told Joy Sports that his son is not ready to go head-to-head with tough opponents after his win over Adam Lopez in Las Vegas. It was a majority decision for the talented Ghanaian boxer who was in the ring for the second time after back-to-back losses to Emmanuel Navarrete in 2018 and 2019. Defeats which cost him the WBO Super Bantamweight title. His dad and former trainer, Paul Dogbe, does not think Isaac Dogbe has what it takes to face tough opponents in the world.
The thing with this performance, I was talking to one of the guys in Top Rank, and they were telling me, oh, Paul, we're going to give him a bigger name to fight. And I said to them, come on, man. Look at this performance. The Top Rank people, they do call me all the time, And then the guys from Australia and things, they do call me. And they always ask me stuff about him. I just say, help the kid, but make sure you run him properly. So, like I said, telling me that they're going to give him a big name to fight now, I don't think is the right thing to do, because, if he had destroyed Adam Lopez, then I would say, yes, he's ready for a bigger name like Michael Conland, and those guys, But, hey, he did not impress me. The first 2 rounds, I was happy. The third round, I was happy. And we were all happy that he was fighting Adam Lopez. But then what happened at the end is just...
And chairman of the local organizing committee of the 2023 Africa Games is backing Ghana to host a successful event. There are fears the country will not be ready to host the multi-sport due to delays in constructing a stadium at Boteman. Dr. Ofori Asari, who is the chairman of the local organizing committee, says those fears are not enough.
I need to be very candid with you. They think that the African Games must be concentrated in one city. They were impressed with what they saw in Kumasi. We took them to the Kumasi Sports Stadium and Tech that we had earmarked for the games as a games village. We took them to Legon, earmarked for a games village. We took them to the Legon Stadium there that we can upgrade and use the facilities there for athletics and what have you. They were really impressed, okay? And they think that whatever happens, Ghana will be able to host the games. So in the nutshell, they were here for two things: just to see the facilities and just to assess the support that we're getting from government. The next time that they come, they will be coming with the confederation heads, with the federation heads in Africa and what have you, and they'll be looking at the nitty-gritty. They'll be assessing the facilities as expected. So on the whole, I must say that it was a very good opportunity for them to come, for us also to get to know them, to get to know exactly what they expect during their next visit.
And that is Dr. Ofosu Asari, chairman of the local organizing committee for the 2023 Africa Games. He was speaking about the visit of the AU Technical Committee that came to Ghana last week to inspect facilities as the country gets ready to host the rest of the 53 African countries in the continent. I am Muftau Nabila Ablai, and this has been Sports on Journeys Prime.
All right, time for showbiz. Becky Bex is here. Hello, Becky Bex.
Hello to you, Izzy. Looks like your voice has changed this evening. What happened?
Well, no, it's the same.
You were like, hello, Bex. Like, I don't understand.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hello, Bex.
Hi, Izzy. How you doing?
Oh, wow.
That sounds much better. All right, let's talk about Agyako Nimo. When was the last time you heard from Agyako Nimo?
Been a while. I think I've seen some of his videos on social media.
Social media. That's because he was on Springboard on Joy FM, and he's been, telling us a lot, teaching us about life in itself. And one thing that he mentioned is, talking about how he started music. Are you not interested in listening to?
Oh, my mind went to the actor.
Agyako. Oh no, Agyako Nimo, the musician.
Yes, the legendary
Agyako Nimo. Okay. Yeah. So he spoke to Springboard about how he started music and how his name Agyako Nimo came about.
In fact, I was born and my daddy gave me the name Kwabenabua Bonsem. I was baptized as a Methodist with the name Daniel Amponsa. When I went on stage, I took the name Ko Nimo. Ko, Friday male born. Nimo, somebody who takes blame for something he has not done. So I have three names. Interestingly, Ghanaians are giving me Eja, and I'm thankful to Ghanaians for that.
So you must be a father of music because everybody knows you for your music. Let's start with your early days. I'm just curious about when you actually got to discover your talent in music.
I think I started my music the very day I was born because I cried. I sang my first melody. I was born in a village, Fonse, at Chumakwa. My father was a trumpeter, and my mother was a singer in the Methodist Square.
Well, let's move away from Agyako Nimo. Let's talk about Kiddy. Kiddy will be releasing his album tomorrow. Okay. So he held an album listening yesterday, and we spoke to him exclusively. My colleague Ibrahim Bembako spoke to him, and he said that this album will be the biggest album in the world.
Okay.
For the reaction I even got, performing the songs for the first time. Everybody here is hearing the songs for the first time, and I was glad with the reception, like the way they were receiving the songs. It means this album is going to go on to do great things, and I'm so grateful. And I prophesy into the life of this album. It's going to be the biggest in Africa, in the world.
Well, and in the Corona era, you had some of the biggest songs, and you have it on this particular album. But you've had your biggest song as Odo. Do you think that this is going to, I mean, I don't know what returns are you expecting from this?
Yep. Like because I say, every song I do, I want it to be better than my previous. After Odo, after Say You Love Me, after Dear Penna Thunder, Say Cheese and Enjoyment, I've actually right now been my biggest songs. So we're taking Odo and all those ones. I want this album, the songs from this album, touches spiritual. Mom Baby, send me nudes. I want these songs to overtake the songs that are already out there. That's all I hope for as an artist. My work should always be better than my previous work. So I'm praying for that.
Well, we're praying with him. We wish him all the best.
Hopefully.
Yeah, if he becomes the biggest in the world, yeah, we stand to gain.
Yes.
So
So all the best, Kidi. I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you so much. I guess we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, that's not the accent. I messed it up.
All right, thank you very much, Becky Bex, for bringing us Showbiz Up Next, for bringing you world news. The Bunkurugu Immigration Command in the Northeast region says there's tightened security along the borders following a renewed clash over land between two Togolese communities there. 5 persons have reportedly been shot and injured in the clashes which erupted last week between the Tambo and Nado factions at Nagbuni, a Togolese community less than 7 kilometers from the Ghana border. Joy News has gathered, although the Togolese security forces have arrived and taken over the troubled community, tensions remain as the factions continue to exchange threats. The development is said to have heightened fears among Ghanaians living there who are worried the violence could spill over. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko reports.
According to an eyewitness in Togo, the clashes erupted after members of a rival faction visited the disputed land. The eyewitness said gunshots were fired following a confrontation between the factions, and 5 persons were injured and taken to a health post at Yamburi. Here is what the eyewitness narrated to Joy News.
The community is called Naguni, and then there is misunderstanding between 2 families, and then because of the land, that 2 families will have one family called Tamu and another family called Nando. And that Naguni land is belongs to Tamu people, and then they wanted to share with part of Tamu, and then Naguni people, Nando family just attacked them on Wednesday.
And they fought for 2 days up?
Yes.
So how many people are injured?
5 people have got and then to Yamburi hospital, and they treated them. But now the place, the Laguna place, there is Togo community there called Gendarmerie there. They're guarding the place. Gendarmerie there. Yes. It is Ghana border. There is a sea between Ghana and Togo. So when you cross the sea, you take Ghana.
Is it far from Yamburi?
It's not far. Maybe about 50 kilometers.
The 2 tribal families have been laying competing claims over the land, and tension has always been high, especially in the farming season. Some members of the community, including those involved in the conflict, are said to have fled to Ghanaian communities in the Bunkurugu Napanduri district. And Joy News has learned that despite the presence of the Togolese army in the community, tension is still high. The district immigration officer Edwin Ajete Doku, who confirmed the violence, said measures had been put in place to deal with any threat along the border.
We are also trying to put measures in place so that this time they will not have their way like they had the last time. Although the unapproved routes are many, we are going to map out strategies so that wherever they pass, we can get them. But for now, I can assure you that it will not, whatever the situation is, it will not come here. I can assure you that one. For now, since it has not even come this far, or it has not escalated here, as I speak with you, for now, there's no problem going on there. I believe they've been able to settle issues, but we must also be cautious or put in place measures that if it happens that this is what is going to happen.
The Kumasi Circuit Court has granted bail to two siblings seen brandishing a pump-action gun and pistols in a viral social media video. The accused persons, Emmanuel Dakura, also known as Obo, and Richard Suleiman, were slapped with 3 charges. They include conspiracy to publish false news, publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm, and carrying offensive weapons contrary to the Criminal Offences Act. Oyemintiri monitor developments and filed this report.
The two siblings appeared before the Kumasi Circuit Court, presided by his Anna Ebenezer Kwaku Ansa, over 3 counts of conspiracy to publish false news, publication of false news with intent to cause alarm, and possession of offensive weapons. The prosecution was led by Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji, who pleaded with the court to remand the accused persons at least for 2 weeks to enable police continue with their investigations to establish the source of the weapon and the whereabouts of the weapons displayed in the viral social media video. The counsel for the accused persons, Charles Owusu Ansa, pleaded with the court to grant the accused persons bail because, according to him, they are citizens who are law-abiding and reported themselves to police even when the video came into the public domain. But Prosecutor Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji objected to the bail application and argued the granting of bail to the accused persons could interfere with police investigations. The presiding judge, His Honor Ebenezer Ansa, after listening to the arguments from both the prosecutor and counsel for the accused persons, granted them bail on the grounds that they have already spent more than 48 hours in police custody and the accused persons might not even interfere with police investigations. The judge granted them 50,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties to be justified, and also asked the accused persons to report themselves in every 3 days to police. From Kumasi, for Joy News, I'm Interior reporting.
Also, the Wager police has arrested a suspect, Joshua Kwashi, 26, for the murder of one Niama Tego, 29, at Obakruwa. According to the police, a group of young men, including the suspect, seized Niama's motorbike at Obakruwa. One of the young men, called Kudus, asked Niama Tego to come for his motorbike. When he arrived to retrieve his motorbike, an argument ensued, and the suspect, Joshua Kwashi, who was sitting close to the scene, went for a single-barrel shotgun and pursued and shot him in his left chest, killing him instantly. The suspect, after the act, went into hiding until he was arrested on June 13, 2021 from his hideout at Obakrowa. The weapon has been retrieved and the suspect arraigned before the Wager Magistrate Court. Her Worship Ruby Intre Opoku, who presided over the case, has remanded the suspect into police custody to reappear on July 12, 2021. Now, a swarm of flies and open drains with pungent smell from animal excreta are some of the scenes that welcomed environmental officers from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly when they visited the only functioning slaughterhouse at Aveno. The abattoir is said to have been operating for over 2 decades under increasingly deteriorating conditions. All efforts by the AMA to get it renovated to meet acceptable hygiene and sanitary standards have proven futile. The facility, which slaughters about 300 cattle daily, has been the focus of the Joy Clean Ghana team. Manuel Kranting reports.
The Joy Clean Ghana team made a first stop at the almost open-air slaughterhouse within the Aveno electoral area. In the past year alone, at least 3 visits have been made to this same slaughterhouse with a caution for its operators to ensure adherence to sanitation standards. But like the mouse when the cat is away, the departure of the officials also means the return to flouting the regulations. Florence Kuchi is Director of Public Health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
We've been here, my officers have been here, I have been here. So what we are going to do, after this, we will give you a notice and then we will go to court and plead that God should help us close down this place. Then the one-man company, you make it, because this is a place you make your living. It's a place you get everything that you want. A day, please, how many animals do you start?
Oh, we kill like maybe 300 cows a day.
300 cows?
Yes.
The team was greeted by open drains which had been choked by excreta from the intestines of the slaughtered animals. As flies besieged us in the yard, the pungent smell from the gutters at the abattoir was also in a strong contest for our attention. But that was before the orders came.
As we are standing here, we are commanding all of them right now. They should go and get brooms and start cleaning all the cobwebs. They should start right now. Please go and get brooms and start cleaning the cobwebs right now.
Mahmoud.
Please go get brooms.
Clear all the meat out. Everybody, get the boys all in. We want to see this place clean before. Everybody.
Every 3 months.
No. I'm not saying every 3 months. Get the meat out. Can you stop that thing and listen to what I'm telling you?
And as the workers began cleaning the premises, there were calls for the place to be closed down altogether. But owner of the abattoir, Alhaji Mahmoud, pleaded for mercy, promising to ensure immediate action.
Yes, right now it's not here, so I'll plead with you. So I'll come to the office and come and see you, so that I'll bring all the boys there.
Because anytime you said we come here for them to screen, they always keep running away. And when a summons is given, because you cannot come here, they will threaten you.
I am pleading with you, so that I will come and see you with my boys.
Head of Environmental Health Unit at the AMA, Joseph Asitanga, explains why a notice of abatement is being issued instead of the closure.
We have come to meet them here. If we say they shouldn't be here, means that they'll be slaughtering on the roadside. Elsewhere, a lot of it will happen by the roadside. That means that would give a lot of work and a serious challenge to the assembly to go around to arrest them slaughtering elsewhere. That is the word we say, slaughtering elsewhere.
But Alhaji Mahmoud called for government support to be able to rebuild the place which kills cattle sold as beef in most parts of Accra. In all, the team visited 4 different sites, closing down 1 public toilet in the process. For Joy News, Manuel Cranting.
Now, Water Resources and Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abnadapa says due to the negative impact of illegal mining, especially those mining on water bodies, water treatment equipment always clog and break down, requiring huge amounts of money to fix them. Cecilia Abnadapa says this increases the cost of treating water, which in turn may be passed on to the consumer.
The how do I put it? I described it as palm nut soup or groundnut soup. The water quality, there was no quality in it. The bad water that was going through our machines. It's very painful that government should borrow money or look for funding to construct infrastructure, water systems, to provide potable water to all of us, and we have a few of us, muddying the waters, destroying the water bodies with chemicals, etc. And surely, in the, at one of these points, I think 2, we have machines that get clogged up every week. They will have to be dismantled and cleaned or replaced at a cost. So surely it augments costs, and if the costs go high, naturally they will have to make sure they also recoup some money to buy more machinery. So we are humbly appealing to all of us to make sure we desist from this, because the engineers will be working at a point, and 20 feet from there, you have people doing galamsey. When they complain, they are threatened with cutlasses and guns and machetes, etc. So we hope this will go down. the water bodies, the turbidity will increase, and then costs of production will go down.
Minister also explained government's plans to ensure that Accra is the cleanest city in Africa is on course, stressing that government continued the Sanitation Day program of the previous NDC administration because it views sanitation and cleaning the environment as an everyday thing and not something to be done monthly.
I believe, and it's in line with His Excellency's vision, that every day is Sanitation Day. We should not wait for 1 month before we clean our environment. Every house has its own environment, meaning lands or a piece of land across or gutters in front of these private homes. It is our duty as citizens to make sure, as we have our bath and clean our homes, we should also clean our environment. With regard to public places, arrangements are in place. We have contractors who have been contracted to clean. The assemblies are also doing their work. So the institutions will have to do their work, and the ministry will have to provide the guidance through policies to help harness all efforts. That's what we are doing. We've all seen an improvement, and I think the roaming and roving regional minister is also helping, because when people do not gather at places that they are not supposed to gather, you don't have waste gathered there.
On provision of water and toilet facilities to homes, she said Ghana has made strides towards the attainment of the sustainable goals on water and sanitation by 2030. She also admonished Ghanaians to maintain a healthy environmental sanitation and preserve water bodies.
Ghana has made strides towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals in water and sanitation. Currently, an Afrobarometer survey findings, SDG scorecard, indicates that about 33% of Ghanaians do have access to household toilets, an increment of 15%, whilst population with access to water has increased by 3%, from 89% to 92%. Let us remain cautious and maintain a healthy environmental sanitation. Let us conserve treated water as well as protect and preserve our water bodies.
Studies conducted by the Center for Social Environmental Research at the University of Ghana says hopelessness is pushing a lot of teenagers in the country to contemplate suicide. The development is said to be more worrying in the senior high and tertiary schools. We have more on this disturbing issue shortly, but closely related to that is a study published by Child Rights International, which found that about 55% of children in Ghana believe that the future is bleak and are planning to leave the country by 2040, citing jobs, education, and better standards of living elsewhere as the reasons. The survey focused on expectations of some 11,288 children between the ages of 12 and 17 in all the 16 regions of Ghana. According to the report, 94% of the children stated that they were worried about getting a job in the next 2 decades. My colleague Elton Brobe has been studying the findings in our report.
The research conducted from June 2020 to April 2021 targeted children between the ages of 12 to 17 and aimed at providing evidence on the values and issues of concern to children and further provide them with the needed opportunity to have their voices heard on key issues that affected them. The findings are that Ghana through the lenses of children present and the next 20 years. The research was to gauge and explore children's life experiences on issues affecting them now and how the country might be in the next 20 years. The findings says children are worried about getting jobs in the future, with majority of them predicting that unemployment would make it harder for some citizens to make ends meet than they did now. 71% of the respondents revealed they would focus their attention on solving the unemployment problem in the country by creating jobs if they became leaders in the future. The findings showed that 35% of the respondents said acquiring technical or vocational skills through technical vocational education and training TVET will be essential for them to be employable in the next 20 years. But more staggering is the finding that 55% of the children said they wished to migrate definitely, whilst 11% said they would either stay in the country or leave eventually, even though a majority of them said they were proud to be Ghanaians.
Now, my colleague Jody Tando has been interacting with some teenagers at the Accra Academy Senior High School. Let's hear some of their reactions.
think that there will be enough job opportunities for you when you are done with school, or you'd rather, like the 55%, want to travel abroad? So can you tell me your name and your age as well and what you think?
Okay, my name is Penyo Hudson Adu. I am 18 years old. Okay. And personally speaking, I would like to travel abroad because here in Ghana, there are not a lot of industries. So when we complete school, we'll not get like enough jobs because there's going to be pressure on the few industries we have here. Yeah.
Okay. So what as well do you think?
Please, my name is Emmanuel Free. I'm 18. So I think that after school, due to high population in the school, like there will not be enough jobs for us, and the way our economy is also affect us. So I think traveling abroad would be better.
And what about you?
Okay, I'm also your boy Dean, and I also think the same as my friend here. Traveling abroad is the best option. So with our population, as we were saying, as the population rate is increasing, job opportunities decreases as well. So traveling abroad is the best option. Yeah, but I love my home, so I'll live in Ghana and work here.
So who wants to actually live in Ghana? I mean, okay, you want to live in Ghana, so you don't think traveling abroad would be your option. Who else wants to live in Ghana? So what do you want to do then?
Well, okay, I won't say maybe traveling abroad is the best thing to do.
What would be your option?
Well, if I get a chance, I'll go, but if I don't, I'll stay in Ghana. Because if we all can't decide to go outside the country and work. Because you have to have people here to help the country, also here improve and work.
So I believe that yes, we all have to have the urge to work for your country. But looking at the reality of things, the unemployment rate, even as at now, do you really think that there will be enough job opportunity for you when you're done with school?
No, there won't be enough.
And what do you think as well?
I also think the same as my brother here, because when you look at our senior brothers, and they are struggling with their jobs, and even if they can't find jobs, how much more we who are behind? So I don't think it's the best option for us at the moment. So when we get an opportunity, we might just go outside and then just further our lives there.
Okay. And lastly, what about you? Give us your opinion.
I'm Mr. Dennis, and I want to seek greener pastures outside, because in this country the resources here are less, and looking at our population, we all can't get job here. So I need to seek greener pastures, and the job opportunity or the career I want to offer is not here. I can't get the job here, so I need to seek greener pastures abroad.
Thank you very much. So you heard it from them. They are with the view of the 55% who think that seeking greener pastures would be the best option to be able to get better job opportunities. All of them here are also saying that the population in Ghana currently will not be able to ensure that there will be enough jobs by the time they are done with school. So yes, you've heard it from their own lips. They'd rather seek greener pastures.
All right, we're taking a break to bring you more business. Give to Andrea Pierre. We'll be here.
Hello there, welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime. My name is Gifty Andwapia. Now, the Ghana Mine Workers Union is calling for a parliamentary audit of the Minerals Development Fund for the past 4 years. They want to ascertain whether or not the fund has served its purpose or it is being diverted into other unrelated issues. The union has expressed worry over the underdevelopment of mining communities despite what they call the diligent payment of royalties by mining companies. General Secretary of the Mine Workers Union, Abdul Momen Bana, spoke during the union's tour of some mining communities as part of the organization's annual week celebration to mark the union's 76th anniversary.
According to the Mine Workers Union, in 2020, producing mining companies paid a total of about $4.5 billion direct taxes and about 1.4 billion cedis in mineral royalties to the GRA. Therefore, it is calling for a legislative instrument or government policy that provides specific productive areas to invest the funds for both present and future generations. Abdul Mumin Bana is the General Secretary of the Union.
Parliament itself, they passed the the Mining Minerals Development Fund Act, and we expect that supervisory rule should also go to the Minerals Development Fund. They should be able to probe into, in the last 3-4 years that this fund has been set up, what have we been doing with it? What exact tangibles have we gotten out of this fund? And we believe if we have all hands on deck, we will be able to deal with this concern about at least dealing with the issue of the infrastructural deficit in the mining community.
Mr. Mumin Bana says the current 20% share of the annual mineral royalties allocated to the Mineral Development Fund is inadequate and ought to be increased to at least 50%.
The quantum that is going into the fund is very minimal. As a matter of fact, we believe that we should be increasing the current allocation to the Minerals Development Fund. It's 20%, we think that it should go to about 50%. If that happens, the allocation, particularly to community development, will be better enhanced.
Meanwhile, the union, during the tour of some mining communities, made some donations to a health facility in Abrim in a secondary school in Kenyase.
We believe that extending to them some donations in the form that we have it is in the right direction and would, to a very large extent, at least project the image of the clinic. And also for patients who would either have to lodge in the clinic, at least.
This year's annual Mine Workers Week celebration, the maiden edition, is themed Integrating Labor and Community Interest for Socio-Economic Development.
Now, FarmMilk Ghana says it has so far invested about 7 million cedis into its corporate social responsibility projects. According to the company's commercial director, Edwin Amwabeng, projects such as biomass and solar systems are part of CSR activities being funded by the company. He spoke to Joy Business after the company inaugurated a new corporate office here in Accra. There is more in this report.
FarmMilk Ghana Wednesday inaugurated a new corporate office in Accra. According to the managing director, Yosio Beton, the new office forms part of the company's ambition to build a stronger and more agile team devoted to enriching the lives of millions of West Africans.
But we pride ourselves to be one of the few companies in Ghana that has the biggest impact on the environment, positive impact on the environment, but more importantly, on the people we serve. We pride ourselves to be able to put out there every day more than 15,000 local entrepreneurs serving to the people of Ghana healthy products. You know a few of them.
Commercial Director of FarmMilk Ghana, Edwin Amwabeng, also indicated the company has so far invested about 7 million Ghana cedis into its corporate social responsibility projects.
Today we've opened our office that doesn't only house the sales team, the finance team, general management, but also in the same premises with the factory. How does that help us? It brings a lot of synergy into the way we operate as an organization and helps us to continue to be more closer to serving our people, the trade and the people that we serve. Today is also very significant for us because it also shows a continued investment of FarmMilk in the economy of Ghana. Today you see that we've once again opened a new office to show that we are here to stay as an organization and we are here for the long haul. You would also notice that there are a couple of other projects that we are doing within the FarmMilk space. We have also within the period are investing almost about 7 million Ghana cedis into a new biomass boiler. We are also having an investment into solar system to help us to generate more efficient and more sustainable energy. And on top of that, we have also opened up our new water treatment plant. All of these things just go to show that FarmMilk as an organization continues to invest into Ghana because we want to stay and we are here for the long haul.
FarmMilk says the new ultra-modern office housed in the same building as the factory represents its vision, mission and leadership behaviors as a truly Danone company.
All right, well, let's take a look at the summaries of international business news. Take a look. And that's it for the international news summaries. There is more news, by the way, at myjoyonline.com. And that's it for tonight as well. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. Muftau Nabila has more sports, and then Israel Lai will continue with the news. Well, there's just this news just in, and we need to brief you on that right now. Accra Academy, there is has been some of the dormitories at Accra Academy has been gutted by fire, and I want to take you live there right now. Judith Awachitando is standing by. Now, this is not the first time that these fires have been experienced on this particular campus, but let's find out what the situation really is on the ground. Those are live pictures coming to you from Accra Academy right now. Judith is standing by. Hello, Judith. Judith, tell us. Have any information as to what may have caused this fire?
Hi. Okay, thank you very much, Gifty. And so teachers here are telling me that the fire started in the anoing room and spread later to some parts of the dormitory. You can see that most of the students' materials and properties have been burnt, but luckily for these students, they were all at prep at this period, and so none of the students were hurt, but most of their properties have been destroyed and are burnt in this fire. So that's the information we are getting here. But so far, 3 fire tenders have come to this scene. The water in the first and the second one are already finished, and the third one is about to spray water onto the dormitory to be able to quench the fire. So that's what is happening here so far.
Were able to speak to the leader of the team on the ground at the moment for them to, I mean, I understand they're fighting the fire, but are you able to speak to any of them, the leader particularly, so they can explain to us what is happening? But also, how are the students? You say that they are at the moment, they were at prep, and so they were not affected. But are they standing by? Where are they right now?
Okay, so it seems that the students might not have enough information about what is happening here because they are still at prep. There's no students here right now. It's just a couple of teachers who are standing by and watching the firefighters quench the fire. So right now they are really, really busy, and so they are not giving us the opportunity to be able to speak to them because they are still trying to quench the fire. It's still burning right now. It's been burning for about 30 minutes so far, but they are telling us that they will speak to us after they're able to salvage the situation and be able to do something good and quench this fire.
We can see that the fire is still raging over there. Judith, thank you very much. We'll come back to you and get an understanding of the extent of damage we're dealing with here. How many rooms, how many dormitories have been gutted by this fire? And it's good that the students are safe. So if you're a parent, you shouldn't be worried. All students are safe. None of them have been caught in this fire. And the firefighters will brief us more after they're able to quench this fire, as well as authorities. Muftau Nabila is standing by to bring us sports.
You're welcome to the second installment of Sports on Joy News Prime with me, Muftau Nabila Ablai. In the first belt, we have talked about how Asante Kotoko won 2-1 against Kayola United. We are going to the Bosley and Clay Sports Stadium and bring you the highlights of how the Porcupine Warriors won that game and moved to the summit of the Premier League table.
Fabio takes off again. Lovely pass through to Jeffy. And that's a bright chance and a bright opportunity for the Kotoko captain. He won't miss this one. Certainly not.
Well, goal number 5 for Emmanuel Jemfi. And again, another wonderful pass from midfield, locating Emmanuel Jemfi. And the moment he had the ball in front of him, with that pace, Jemfi was in pole position to slot home and beating goalkeeper Richard Bedu. Wonderful goal from Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And Jemfi has his 5th goal of the season.
22 minutes gone in the first half. Stadium has been set alight. Wonderfully.
We saw that blast here again. It took a ricochet of Habib Mohamed. Two Kotoko players before Beko lashed onto it, beating Kwame by the sister Lawan. Look at that shot. Taking a ricochet of two Kotoko players. The last one, Habib Mohamed, before Beko lashed onto that ball.
Ghani with a free kick. Lays on a pass to Habib. Habib drives one in. That's nicely blocked. And it's headed away by Captain Sadiq Al-Hassan. But Kotoko still probing. Into the 18-yard box. Appeals for a penalty. And Kotoko have it. And look at the delight on the face of Ivan Sadomako.
Well, it's another...
Why Karela players are insistent that it's not a penalty. Yeah, here it goes.
There was that ball from some of your end. Sadomako got his feet to the ball, right? But slowly, calmly, confidently, he sizes up the goalkeeper and he puts it on the wrong way. I mean, Richard Beidou, wonderfully beaten.
Expertly done. Watch the goalkeeper. Took a...
The win for Kotoko means that they now sit at the top of the Premier League table with 56 points, and their close contenders is Accra Hearts of Oak, who will seek to restore their lead in the Ghana Premier League when they play as guests of Legon Cities at the Accra Sports Stadium on Thursday. The Phobians are now second on the log, 3 points below rivals Asante Kotoko, who beat Kerala United in Obuasi earlier today. Ahead of tomorrow's crucial game, head coach of Legon Cities Bashiru Hayford insists pressure is more on Hearts of Oak to win to keep the momentum as they seek to win the Ghana Premier League title for the first time in 12 years.
I'm saying that if this team gels well, it's going to be one of the toughest team any team can beat in Ghana. And so we are not afraid of anything. And so disclosing my strategy for the match, I think it's too late. It's too late. Because they are also mentioning how are they going to contain Atuke, when are they going to contain Hans Kofi, how are they going to contain Richmond. They are also saying it. The same thing, you are also bringing some names. So it's a headache to them, not us. And again, they want to take the league. We will know that we are not in contention for the league. We can't. For truth, because we didn't start well, and where we are lying, if they give all the points to us and stop the rest for praying, even it will be a problem. And so they have a problem. There's pressure. As a coach, I know if I'm in the shoes of my brother Boedu, it's not easy, because for the past, is it 10 years or 9 years or something? Yes. That they want to take. The same thing when I went to Kotoko, so many years. For Ashgold, 19 years. And I know why it takes, when the pressure was on you to win, that you take the league, because it is a long time that we took the league. And everybody is putting his eye on it that we are winning. So the pressure is on them, not us. And so there's no need even disclosing it. The strategy is that we are going to play football. They should also play football. That's all. That's the strategy.
Vintage Bashiru Hayford there, a former Premier League winner with Asante Kotoko and Ash Gold. Some updates from the Euros Championship. Hungary and Germany played out 2-2, and currently the game involving Portugal and France also stands at 2-2. I am Muftar Nabila Ablai, and this has been Sports on Joy News Prime.
And that has it for the bulletin this evening. I'm Israelite. Thank you very much for watching, but we will be keeping an eye on that fire at Accra Academy, and we will be updating you in our subsequent bulletins and on myjoyonline.com. Have a good evening.